It's The Rock We Live On with Mo and Craig.
Good evening, sir. Cheers. Good old Bud Light. Man, there's nothing like a nice cold beer.
It's nice. I having a cider.
I've never been a big cider guy.
Out of whiskey. Well, the beer gives me gout, so I can't drink. Love beer,
So
but I can't drink it.
Cider doesn't give the same effect
No.
as the beer does?
No, it's not made with hops and all that stuff. So
Okay.
I don't know what it is exactly about beer, but that creates uric acid. But I have
Gosh,
to
I hope
really be careful. I can have beer. I just have to be careful, and depending on what other things I eat, it would really mess me up. So
Oh my gosh, if I ever suffer from gout, that
would
be
when that sucks.
God.
Hey,
I
no
drink
more
so
steak.
much beer.
No, don't eat
No
steak.
steak?
No steak. No beef and beer are like the biggest culprits.
Gee
But there's a
whiz.
lot of other foods that will mess you up. Beets, I found out.
I don't know that I've ever
Really
had a
bad.
beet in my life.
Well, I took a beet extract that I thought was going to help with blood pressure so I could get off of blood pressure medication, and it gave me the worst case of gout I've ever had. So I was like, oh, well, I'm not doing that again.
But did it help with the blood pressure? I don't know. I'm wondering because I'm on medication for blood pressure right now, too.
I couldn't walk, so
I'm hoping,
I wasn't
I'm hoping
worried
that,
about the blood pressure.
I'm hoping that going to the gym more often will help me, get that under control.
Losing
as
weight
well.
definitely will help
Yeah,
that.
I've been going. I'm back in there. I feel naked without my glasses. I forgot them.
Sit there with them. You want to use mine?
No.
I won't be able to see.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. They're for the aesthetic for me. I've got 20/20 vision. So I know we had talked about like what we were going to talk about today, and obviously we said we would get back to some of the stuff going on in the world, and so that kind of made me think one thing that's happened recently could lead to another conversation. Trump.
Oh yeah,
And the infamous doctor
right.
picture. What
The
a
Trump Jesus photo,
dude.
and we'll throw it up in there on the podcast.
Yeah, what a fucking moron. And okay, go ahead. You
Well,
first.
to me, the greatest thing he admitted. Yeah, I posted that.
Yeah, I shared it.
Absolutely.
I thought I
That's
was a
me.
doctor.
That's me acting like a doctor and helping people because I help people all the time. I'm like, there's nothing in
No
this picture.
There are literal doctors also in the picture, or maybe
Right.
nurses, but
nurses, and he's helping people. I don't get it. And he's done this where he goes lay hands on people and heals them. I don't. He didn't deny it. Which
No, he
to
didn't
me
deny
was
it.
just shocking.
I was wondering because he always has an excuse. He always has a reason that, he didn't understand or it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I was
somebody
wondering,
else
how
did
does
it.
he get around this one? And then when he came up with that, I thought I was a doctor. I'm like, this is one of the smartest, stupid motherfuckers I've ever met. Or not met, but seen in my life.
He puts a twist on everything.
Everything, dude. And now I will say, though, it has led to a lot of, the religious right. Turning on him a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, because he added that to a fight with the Pope.
yeah.
So
fighting with the
now
Pope, too,
you're
yeah.
depicting yourself as like Jesus or Jesus-like, and you're fighting with the Pope.
Yeah.
So yeah, the conservatives are having a problem with it.
Yeah, which I want to say better late than never, but like,
Yeah.
if only
They're
people,
coming around.
millions of people had told you guys this is kind of how he was.
Why wasn't they upset when he was taking pictures of him holding the Bible out in front of the
Or
church,
selling Bibles?
or selling Bibles? That
Yeah.
was okay.
Yeah.
He's supporting religion, I guess, with that. That was okay. But then when he was going against everybody, and he's arguing with the Pope because the Pope is not supporting his war. And I'm like, what Pope ever has supported war?
I mean, and even back in the times where war was a religious thing,
Yeah.
I mean that it's been hundreds of years since that was the case. So
Right, but I don't even think popes
not
were
really-
behind that then, were they? I mean, did they?
I don't
they
know.
Agree with it?
I
They've
mean,
always
some of the
been
shows
about
that I watch,
peace.
obviously, but they're fictional, so I couldn't say.
Yeah, I don't know how far you have to go back to where a pope was pro-war.
It was like, go win this war.
Right. They've always been pro-peace. They're always just
Probably
peace and love.
I would say I would have to go back to maybe when it was Christians versus, like pagans and
right.
like the
It
Vikings.
was like
maybe
the Crusades. was all
Maybe
about
there.
that was all about religion, right? And
Maybe
I
there.
think pushing religion, their own religion on people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Has to be. I mean, but still, that's so long ago that you cannot. Yeah, I don't know. You can't line it up.
No.
But anyway, that topic made me think about the fact that we've never really discussed religion.
No.
And that's a big part of the rock we live on,
There
right?
you
That's
go.
a huge part of the rock we live on.
It's one of those taboo topics, but we've
It
talked
is.
about politics.
Yeah.
Well, you're never supposed to talk about what politics or religion.
and money.
Money.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have any money.
Yeah, I definitely don't
So
have
we
any.
don't have to talk about that.
Nothing to talk
We've
about there,
covered
guys.
a lot of political things, so
Yeah,
I guess religion is next.
We actually, at the bar I work at, we do have a sign up there that says no politics and religion at the bar. It gets broken a lot, but that rule gets broken. But I've got some, I've got my beliefs and I've got some stories to back them up and stuff, but I kind of wanted to start with you. Sometimes I feel like I not overshadow, but like over talk you on some of our topics, and I feel bad about that. So I would actually like you to start.
I jump right in and talk, and I share whatever I want to share. I don't feel like you over talk. A lot of times, I think you are like really passionate about stuff, and I want to see that coming out. I don't know if you're going to get really passionate about this. But.
I mean, somewhat maybe. I've got stories, but if you prefer, I go first. I will.
I will tell you that. This might be a tough topic for us because I'm an atheist. I believe in religion, which is maybe strange, but I personally don't believe in God. But I believe in religion. There was a French philosopher a long time ago that said, if God didn't already exist, it would be necessary to create him, which basically saying all of society, and if you think about all society from as long as you can remember, they all have some form of religion.
Yeah.
And it's necessary for a civilized group, even an uncivilized group. If you consider like Indians or like natives in other countries, they all have a religion, even if they might be cannibals or crazy people or not civilized in any way.
Vikings,
Vikings
who would literally pillage and rape.
Exactly.
Villages.
They're doing the worst things ever,
Yeah.
but they had religion, and that religion itself is necessary to answer unanswerable questions, to give people a sense of not being alone, to help like rules. There's an ultimate goal that you need to achieve, and you need to act a certain way to be there. So it's basically a set of rules and guidelines to live your life. And I think it's necessary for civilized societies to have that in order to function.
I can see that. I can see that even as an atheist, you can feel that, because in most cases of religion, right, if done correctly, it leads to people living good lives, being kind to others, caring. You know what I mean?
So almost every religion is about that.
Yes. Yeah,
if you follow these ways to treat people well, and you will be rewarded in the afterlife, whatever that is.
So even if you're only doing it to get that afterlife reward for whichever thing you believe, are your internal reasons greater or good? That's up to your God or gods to decide. But if it's still positively affecting the people around you, then that's all good to me. So I can understand
it's
that.
about saving your soul for eternity, and that's a big thing for a lot of people. I don't believe that. I just kind of think you die and it's over,
and then that's it.
Sorry,
no, that's okay. I mean,
there's just no tangible proof of anything beyond that. I need proof. I'm more like science based, I guess.
You're a show me guy.
You show me, and
I can understand that. I mean, I'm not going to hate you for it. I have obviously different beliefs.
And again, I don't have anything against any religion, and I have been to church. I went to church as a kid. My parents were Pentecostal. They're probably one of the craziest, religions ever. And I went to Pentecostal church with my grandparents. And I went to a Baptist church growing up on my own. My parents.
Have you ever been to a Black Baptist church?
No, but I've been to. I don't know if it's Baptist or not. I told you about Otis Hudson was my dad's best friend.
Oh, yeah.
He was a gospel singer.
Yeah.
So we went to the AME church.
Okay, I'm not super familiar with what AME is.
I'm not sure exactly. That's why I don't know if it's Baptist. But it was an all-black church in the middle of Los Angeles.
I remember you telling me about that. Okay,
well, yeah, and because we went to go see him sing, and we were the only white people there, and was
it a lot of upbeat songs or a lot of slow songs?
No, it's
or
upbeat.
It's a mixture.
It's upbeat,
Okay,
clapping,
okay. Yeah, dancing,
and like amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like, and you definitely get feelings.
You get feelings.
Oh, yes. I have been in church and had feelings.
Yeah, I tear up sometimes at church. I don't go as much as my family would probably like me to, my mom and sister specifically. But I do, when I go, I do get emotional sometimes, and especially seeing my mom get emotional, then I start getting emotional.
The problem with that, though, and everybody's going to say, "Oh, you went to church and you had feelings. That's God tugging on your heart." I've had the same feeling at a baseball game.
Oh, shit.
When you get a lot of people all together in one common thing, and
Rejoicing
they start
and
singing, chanting the national anthem, or supporting their team, or rejoicing, and they're all together in unity, working together, there is major power in that. And you get feelings, and I've cried, but I've cried at sporting events. I cry when I see cheerleaders. It's the weird thing. I used to. My daughter was in cheer competitions.
Okay, there you go. That's all. Okay.
No, but
as a dad, I can get understand.
Cheer competitions, they make me cry. They're just so damn happy. It's not even her. I'd watch other people, and I start tearing up because those girls are so damn happy.
Yeah,
and it just gets me. I can't deal.
I cry at a lot of happy stuff too. Oh my gosh, the Facebook reels and Instagram reels that like me and my sister will send back and forth to each other. Sometimes a lot of them are just hilarious, funny shit. But then there's like the really happy ones, and it's like, oh my god, I've been crying on the toilet for 20 minutes. But no, I have a very. I'm gonna use the word unique. Obviously, it's not. I don't mean it by its dictionary definition because it's probably shared by other people, but a unique relationship with religion, and because I grew up in the church, right?
Yeah.
And my family, Southern Baptist, been going to the same church since before I was born, as far as I can remember. It's moved, obviously, but went a lot more when I was younger, and then as I got older and became more of a critical thinker, I started having my doubts about things that, as far as the Bible itself goes.
Okay.
And my doubts and my arguments stem from, one, especially when it comes to black people and religion. Now, let me say this. I still believe in God. I do believe in God, right?
Right.
And I'm going to tell you why here in a second. But one, as far as I understand it, I could be wrong, and someone in the comments can correct this for me. But as far as I understand it, black Americans, we received our knowledge of God, the God in the Christian religion, from slave owners. Right. It was beaten into our ancestors. Right. So what did the tribes that we were taken from in Africa believe in before we got here? And then I think it was, a way to help control the slaves, because now if they believe in God, that they know, they believe God's going to save us eventually, at some point, whatever.
Well, they put the fear of God into them so that they didn't go against their masters. So that it was more fear.
Well, and not only that, so that's one thing, right? But again, I still believe in God. And two, the Bible itself, some of the stories, even though I've never read it from beginning to end, I tried. It was very hard for me to read because it was very hard for me to understand. Yeah, and, as far as the order of things and everything. But I listen to the stories when I'm in church, and I'm familiar with some of the scriptures when they're read to me and stuff like that. And obviously, everybody knows the really big ones like Noah's Ark and the splitting of the sea and all that. Yeah,
the Easter stories.
Some of them are hard for me to believe as a critical thinker.
Right.
They just don't seem realistic at all. Right.
Right.
And then the other thing is, in the Bible, and in church, we are taught that God is the only God, Jesus, the Holy Ghost, only perfect beings.
Right.
All the rest of us, even the pastors and the deacons and the priests and everyone else is still flawed. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's why we repent. That's why people like Catholics and go and do the confessions. That is Catholics, right? I think that's Catholics.
Catholics
that
do the confession. Yeah.
Right. And so, when one of the things that we're taught is that we're all flawed, and we shouldn't be fully influenced by each other.
Right.
Right. But if that's the case, if man is flawed, man put the words on the paper.
Right.
God didn't put the words on the paper.
Right.
Man put those words. And then it's been translated and rebuffed and
so many
done
times.
Time and time again over centuries. Who's to say that those are the actual words of God anymore?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or the actual stories.
Or stories of God. Yeah.
That, I guess the Bible is a number of stories written by individuals.
Yes.
And all put together. But yeah, who knows what they wrote? Because
But
it's been
supposedly-
rewritten so many times.
So many times, and then you've got the
I want to
the
say
King
I heard
James version or the
right. King James
New
just
Testament.
decided I'm going to rewrite this whole thing and change it all together.
and then you got what's his name? Was it Da Vinci that painted Jesus? Was that
I think
Leonardo
so.
da Vinci?
Maybe, yeah.
And from the rumor is and the story is that he painted one of the Borgia, family member because he was in love with him because he was gay.
Right.
And so he
just
painted Jesus
used
to look like
somebody
him.
else
Because
and
the Bible clearly tells you that Jesus is a brown person.
right. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that people like
They
wash
just
over that.
completely act like that's not in there.
Let's not talk about that.
Hair of wool. That's this. His hair is like wool. That's this right here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, he was from the Middle East.
From the Middle East, yes.
So, I mean-
where's this white guy coming from?
Right. He's
So
not a white guy with a beard like you
No.
think. No.
So that's a part of my thing with religion, but I also do still believe in God because it's been instilled in me, and so I am what I feel like is a unique position where I am not solely influenced by the words in the book, but the ideal behind the God that I follow,
Right.
and who He wants us to be,
Right.
right? And so, because like it supposedly in the Bible it says that a sin is a sin. Me stealing from someone is the same as me killing someone.
Right.
I find that hard to follow. I find that hard to believe. Right. I find it hard to believe that the world, flooded and a guy had a boat with all the animals on it. I find that hard to believe. However, I am also of the belief that religion is good when it's done right because it helps people do right by other people.
Exactly.
And I love that. But I also still believe in God, and now here's where I share my stories, and I've got 3 of them, 3 unique stories of experiences that I had that I have no explanation for, and that I know. And hey, as someone who doesn't believe could disagree. To me, it was God that saved my life.
Okay.
Right. So I'll start. I can actually tell them in chronological order. So one,
each time your life was saved?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So one was
like a cat.
I was like 16 or 17. I was still practicing driving. I didn't have a license yet.
Mm-hmm.
I played basketball, AAU basketball, so that's travel basketball,
Yeah.
right? And so my dad was the coach of our team, and we weren't sponsored by like a Nike or Adidas or something. Like we were just a local, team that we had to raise money for our funds. So we would go and like literally sign up, my dad, my parents, my mom and dad will go to Walmart or Kroger or wherever, and we would fundraise. Like literally, we were that team standing outside.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're trying to raise money for our trip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some people are such assholes when you're doing that. We're freaking teenagers, and they're like, oh, what does AAU stand for? I don't know that you're really.
Right.
What you think we just made these fucking matching jerseys to come out here and stand in this hot ass sun? No. If
people.
Nike would give us thousands of dollars right now, I would not be standing out here. But they don't know us.
Right.
So here we are. But anyway, we needed to go pick up a 15 passenger van for a trip to Florida.
Yeah.
my dad didn't have anyone else to follow him to the lot where we were getting the van from to bring his car back to the house.
Mm-hmm.
So he, I had been learning to drive. He was trusting me with, okay, don't do anything crazy, but
Wow.
the lot where we were going to get the van was 6-7 miles from our house.
Okay.
So he was like, look, I'm gonna drive the van. When we get there, I'm gonna drive the van. I want you to follow me in my car. Right, stay behind me whole time back home. And I'm like, yes, all right, I can do this.
Right.
I got this. Yeah. I'm getting some responsibility. Funny enough, the story I told you about knocking the mirror off the car.
Yeah.
This is the same car.
The car's been through hell.
So, we're pulling out, and this particular car lot where we rented the van from had a lot of bushes on the left side of the exit. So it was kind of hard to see some of the oncoming traffic if you didn't pull out far enough.
Yeah.
So my dad pulls out in the van. I'm looking both ways to see if I'm good to go. I'm safe to go. And I think I'm safe to go. Right?
Yeah.
I start going to make a left turn. And then all of a sudden I look over and an 18-wheeler is coming right at me. Right at me.
Wow.
And I froze.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Froze, blacked out. When I came to, my hand was on the gear shift. The car was in reverse.
Wow.
The truck hit just enough for the car to knock the bumper off, and that's it.
Wow. And the car didn't spin around.
The car didn't spin around, nothing. Literally, boom, knocked off the front bumper. Like it was it was just enough to knock the bumper off.
Wow.
And I literally was blacked out, and then I was coherent again, and my hand was right here, and I had reversed.
Wow.
I did not make that conscious decision.
No.
I did not. I froze. Like when I looked over and the truck was coming, that was it for me.
You thought you were done.
Yes.
Because you were like fully out. You were going to get sideswiped.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably dead.
And somehow I reversed.
Wow.
I did not make that decision consciously.
Right.
At all. I'm very quick on my feet. I can make quick decisions when in danger and stuff like that. I can, in that case, I was like 16. I hadn't learned enough. I haven't lived enough life and had a fight or flight enough yet to think that quickly.
Right.
So I attribute that to God. Right.
Okay.
Boom. There's another time where, now I say I'm going to tell them in chronological order, but these two, I can't forget which one comes first. So I'll just tell one of them. I have a background in promotion. So I used to promote clubs and parties and stuff like that before I even at my late teen years going into my early 20s, the nightlife was kind of my thing. So I was like a promoter. I would help put asses in the building to party type shit. So my mom's friend, she's kind of like an aunt to me and my siblings. She had opened up a teen club. And I had actually worked with a teen club before when I was a teen. Yeah. And so she had opened up, I was an adult at this point, but she opened up a teen club. And I was kind of helping her with it, just helping her promote it, helping, get people to get their, know that their kids would be safe partying there. They'd be all right. They'd be protected, whatever. Yeah.
I think party is a loose term at a teen club, though, right?
Oh, no. They way party. Well, they didn't party like we partied at our teen club.
Right.
They partied hard. Right. But, so anyway, one day I'm at my friend's house in the projects. Okay. And I'm playing video games, and it was like a Friday, I think it was Friday. And, for some reason, something kept telling me to go check and see if she needed help at the club.
Really?
And I'm like, oh, no, she'll be all right. Everything's fine. And I just kept playing video games, and I'm sitting on my friend's couch in the projects. And it just kept prodding at me. Go check on her name is Miss Toya. That's what I called her. Go check on Miss Toya, see if the club needs help. See if she needs help at the club. So finally, after this just kept crossing my mind time and time and time again, while I'm trying to sit here and play video games, I was like, screw it. I'm going to run over there. Screw it. Right? So I leave my friend's house in the projects. and I go to the teen club. She's not even open that night.
Really?
So I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess you didn't need my help. So then I called one of my buddies. I was like, hey, man, where you at? You know, he's at the place that I just left like 20 minutes before that.
Yeah.
He got there shortly after I left. So I'm like, hey, man, shit, I'm already out now. You want to go out to the club?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you know, come pick me up. I'm like, okay, cool. So then I have another chance to change my mind, sit back on that couch and play video games where I just was. Because
Right.
I'm back there picking up a friend who just got there.
Yeah.
Instead, we go to the club. We're not at the club a full 30 minutes. We get a call from a friend of ours. Hey, come back over here. So-and-so just got shot.
Oh, my
We're
God.
like, what? Like, yes, come back now. Come back now. So-and-so just got shot. Someone, he lived in the projects, right? And, you know, let's just say certain things that you're doing in certain areas, if you're not keyed into that area and the people of that area,
Right.
they may not really like you doing certain things in their area.
I get it. Okay.
So someone busted in the back door, like knocked on it. My one friend opened it. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to the project. Well, you inspected apartments, so I'm sure you have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I actually
so-
worked in projects.
Okay, so
Yeah.
those doors are heavy as shit.
Yeah.
So somebody knocked on the door. My one friend like cracked it to see who it was. Boom, they kicked it. It hit him in the head, knocked him out in the kitchen.
Wow.
They came in the apartment and shot like 4 or 5 times.
Oh, my God.
Shot my boy in the leg. Shot up the stairs. Like there was a bullet hole in the wall of the stairs.
Just
Shot at that
shooting
couch.
him.
Everything. The one of the couches that had a bullet hole in it, I would have been sitting
That's
on
right where you were sitting.
had I not been poked and prodded by something or someone telling me to go.
To go look at a club
Go
that
check on a
wasn't
club
even
that
open.
wasn't even open.
Wow.
I would have been sitting right on that couch
Just
when they busted
20
in.
minutes earlier.
Yep.
Wow.
And I mean, and it happened over the span of an hour. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I was
yeah.
there playing video games, came back to pick the other friend up, went to the bar, and then it all happened.
Wow.
You know, so what was that? What was that
Right.
telling me to get up off
To
of that
leave,
couch
Yeah.
and go to a club that wasn't even open?
Yeah.
And then I was already out at that point. So I'm like, all right, well, we might as well party for myself then. You know, since I can't help the teenagers party.
Right.
And then one more, and I'll make it quick.
That's all right.
A car wreck that I had, right? I was me and the same buddy that got knocked out by the door in the project.
Yeah.
Me and him drove up to Kentucky, about an hour away, to visit a friend, my other friend that stayed there. We went up there. Normally, I would take my car when we went to visit him, but it just so happened that my buddy had a rental. So he was like, "Hey, you want to go up, to Kentucky? I got a rental." I'm like, "Shit, yeah, let's go." And so we go up there, we party a little bit. At the time, that friend wasn't really a drinker. I was.
Yeah.
So I was happy that we weren't in my car this time because I could drink all I wanted to. You know what I mean? Because he was the one
Right,
driving
he's
anyway.
driving.
He didn't really drink. He'd smoke a little bit, but that was it. And so we party there all night, and then we decide to drive back here probably 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Uh-huh.
And we might have passed out for about an hour and a half or two, went
Right.
to sleep, then got up to come back. On the drive back, I'm sleeping in the car. And I wake up to my body flailing around,
Wow.
literally just doing this. My friend had almost ran off of the road, overcorrected, flipped the car.
Oh my gosh.
So literally, I go from asleep to waking up to my body just
Really
all over the place.
Wow.
And he's apologizing while we're flipping over and everything. And then the car stopped. And on this route, at the time, it's a different business now. But on this route, at the time, there was a brick business. Like, not the building was made of bricks, but a brick business.
Right.
So they had literal, like, just stacks of
brick.
bricks all
Yeah.
over the place. The car stopped upside down with my passenger window about 3 feet away from one of those stacks of bricks.
Wow.
Like I could, when we finally came to a stop and I was like hanging upside down, thankfully I had my seatbelt on. I'll always ride with my seatbelt on.
Yeah.
I've had known too many people died in car accidents because they weren't wearing one. So I always wear one. I had to like let my seatbelt out to go to drop myself down on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't even climb out of my window. The bricks were so close.
There were bricks.
I had to crawl across the car and crawl out of his window.
Wow.
And we got out, we're kind of disoriented, don't know really what the hell's going on. I'm like, what the fuck? And my hand felt really cold. I was like, because it was February. Yeah. So it was pretty chilly outside. Yeah. My hand felt really cold. And I'm like, why is my hand so cold? I looked down. Apparently I had been cut open, and there was blood rushing down my hand. So it was just like the blood was freezing on my hand.
Oh my gosh.
But after, inspecting ourselves, that was the only injury I had.
The worst injury, yeah.
That was the worst injury was my hand, and he had like busted his mouth open.
Wow.
But I mean, from the way, I can go back on my Facebook memories and show you the pictures. If you looked at that picture, you would think somebody died in that car.
Right.
But we both came out minor injuries. And so that's another case where I feel like God saved my life.
Divine intervention.
So, yeah. So I tell those 3 stories are the main ones that I have as far as personal experience. Obviously, I feel like God saves my life every day. Anything could happen to me. But as far as those main, like, here are my reasons, no one can tell me God doesn't exist. Those are the 3 stories that I have for that.
I was thinking, I don't really have any stories like that. I've never experienced something where I thought God intervened, but my wife is very open. I hate the word religious, but she's spiritual. Let's say that. She doesn't go to church, but she definitely believes. Our house is full of crosses and Bibles, and
I don't go as much as my mom or my sister would like me to either. But I also feel like one of the other things, this is what I forgot to mention. I'm sorry, I just cut you off. I'll tell you this in a minute. You
my wife, again, very spiritual. Go way back. She had 2 kids from a previous marriage. We got together. We got married, had a baby. Mm-hmm. We were not doing really well financially. It was 2001 when my first son was born, and 9/11 happened, and I had a business that was put out of business because of 9/11. And she was the only one working, and I think she has a really great job now, but she was maybe just starting in that industry or that company at the time. So she wasn't making a great deal of money, and I had no job at all. And we find out that she's pregnant again. And we weren't trying to have babies, but we weren't apparently not trying not to. Yeah. But we didn't expect it so soon after our son was, I think, 5 months old when she found out she was pregnant again. Excuse me. And so we had long debates about we should terminate the pregnancy or not. And there wasn't any hard, my take was we can't have another baby. We can't afford another baby. We can't do this. We need to take care of this and move on. We know it'll be okay. Her take was, for various reasons, she didn't want to do that. But she also could see my point and didn't want to put us in a big financial bind. So she was struggling really hard. So she started praying and asking for a sign. She's always asking for signs, give me something. Yeah. And so we're living in a house, and she goes upstairs in our bathroom. This is going to be a strange thing, but she flips on. She's asking for a sign. Show me something. Give me something. Any reason. She flips on the exhaust fan in the bathroom, and it doesn't come on. Trying, it doesn't come on. And she's like, well, I guess that thing quit. So the next day, she goes, flips it on, and it works just fine. And she's like, that was the sign. That to her, that was the sign. The ceiling fan didn't work for 24 hours, and then it worked perfectly fine after that.
Yeah.
So she came back to me and she's like, "We're keeping this baby. Everything's going to be fine. I got a sign. I know that was it."
That's some faith. That's some faith right there. I'm not gonna lie. That is some faith.
We tell my son Kyle, who is, he's now 24 years old, almost. He's here because the ceiling fan didn't work. And I actually wrote it in a song. I wrote a song to my wife about all of her things, and I've written her poems that how our life was changed because the ceiling fan didn't work that one day.
That is crazy.
So, and then the other things, real quick, her mom passed away just 11 years ago. She was really close, and her mom, since then, she's always... Every year on her death anniversary, we go out into nature, and butterflies are a big thing. Visits from butterflies and red birds. Yeah, that's kind of her thing. Mm-hmm. So we always go out into nature, and it never fails. We went this year. We were at a waterfall out in the middle of nowhere. Didn't see a single bug. It's in March. Everything, the weather was nice, everything was great, and then just out of nowhere, a butterfly just appeared and landed on my wife's head, and then flies away. And so
that was her mom coming to visit.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. Yeah. Every time, there's always something like that.
Yeah.
But when
my family's like that as well.
When we were coming to this to move to this house where we're at right now, there was lots of issues. We because of the. A second time in 2009, everything crashed, housing crashed, and we lost our house in that we filed bankruptcy. We had major financial problems because of the 2009 crash. Again, a second business that I had was knocked out of business because of the 2009 housing crash. And we were in bad financial situation. We had kids that were on drugs. We had another kid that was being bullied really bad in school to the point like physically dry humped on a bus because he was the smallest kid on the baseball team. And the kids were on a baseball trip going someplace, and bullies were just like messing with him to the point where it was messing up his head bad. Jeez. So we were in this situation where we had gotten through that. This was 4 years after the bankruptcy. We're like, hey, we can get a home loan again. And we started looking for a house, and we decided we're not going to buy. We're living in Phoenix. We're not going to buy anything in Phoenix. We got to get out. We got to go to a place where people are better and get these kids away from this society that they're in, because this is bad for them. There's no good that's going to come out here. Yeah. So we took a trip, and we came to this house. That's another long story. But when we got to this house, we're walking through it. Again, another long story, but there was no realtor. There was nobody available. We were on our way back to the airport. This was our last chance. We saw this house. This is the only house that spoke to us on this trip where we were looking for a place to live. And I just said, screw it. I'm going to the door, see if somebody's home. We have to see this house. And so a knock on the door, and the owner of the house came to the door in a towel and said, no problem. We explained to her the situation. We're leaving. We love this house. We just want to see it before we leave. No problem. Give me a minute, and we'll take you through the house. So we went through the whole house. We spent 45 minutes in this house walking around. We finally go out to the backyard, and my wife is standing by. We're not familiar with the plants and everything that's here because we're from Arizona. Everything's completely different than where we're living now in Tennessee. And butterflies start flying all around my wife, like a lot of them. And she's like, what is going on? And the lady of the house goes, oh, you're standing next to the butterfly bush. We have 2 butterfly bushes here, and they attract all kinds of butterflies, and they're like literally swarming my wife's head. And then I turn around and look at her, and I'm underneath a tree, and I look up, and there's apples. And I'm like, honey, this is an apple tree. And she starts to cry. Her mother won awards for her apple pies and was famous for her apple pie. Wow. And I'm like, this is an apple tree. and you're being swarmed by butterflies. She's
yeah.
like, we've got to buy this house.
Yeah.
She goes, this is it. We've got to buy this house. And there was a bunch of problems, but so we decided if it was going to go easy, we were going to make it happen. If it was a difficult situation, we weren't doing it. But if it goes easy, and at first there was some no's, and her boss said she could not move, even though she worked remotely. They didn't want her to leave, and they said no. But then 2 days later, they changed their mind, and they said, go ahead. And after that, everything just like fell into place, and we ended up buying the house that we're living in, where we have this massive apple tree and still have butterfly bushes.
That's pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah,
that's awesome,
it's pretty
man.
crazy. But yeah, that's the reason why we live in this house. And she believes that's divine intervention, telling her, giving her
I can't disagree with her. I would not disagree with her.
Oh, and well, the kids are off drugs and doing fantastic.
Doing well, yeah.
And the one that was bullied is now an engineer and got a girlfriend, got he quit baseball because he just couldn't be around that like group of guys anymore. He was small for his age, but we found out he had a medical problem. He started taking hormones and growth hormones, and he grew like almost 10 inches inside of a year. And he found robotics competition. Is very competitive, and he found robotics and got in on a robotics team, and now he's a mechanical engineer. So I mean, everything, that move saved 2 kids' lives really, and changed everything around for us. And it was all because there was an apple tree and a butterfly bush, really. So,
I mean, I would tend to agree with her that definitely seems like divine intervention to me, and that kind of goes to my point that I was going to make, and I'm glad I remember it because sometimes I forget shit. God is everywhere, right? That's what we're taught, that God is everywhere. So when my sister gets on me, especially my mom doesn't get on me so much anymore, but my sister does sometimes, about not going to church every Sunday, I'm like, well, aren't we taught that God is everywhere? I have a relationship with God. I talk to him all the time. I don't have to be in that building to talk to him.
And that's what my wife believes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And now, don't get me wrong. I love our church. Our pastor is an amazing leader. He had, him and my grandfather had just an amazing relationship, and they honor my granddad every year with a prayer breakfast, and so don't get me wrong, I love the building and the people in it, but I'm not there every Sunday. I typically go every other Sunday, the Sunday that I have my daughter, because I work at a bar on the weekends. She spends the night with my mom or my brother or whoever, and so I meet them at church because my daughter's already with them at church. So I meet them at church, we go to church, I have a great time, and then every other Sunday, there's ones I don't have my daughter, that's Fishing Sunday. But you know what? There's a good song out there. That's Fishing Sunday, but there's a song. Is it Trace Adkins or is it Rodney? Or is it
deep
Rodney?
Voice guy? Somebody.
One of them,
I don't know country music.
Trace or Rodney, one of the two, has a song, and he says, I'd rather be at the lake with my mind on God than in church with my mind on fishing. And I love that. I love that song, dude. Because he talks about like being out in nature, in God's creation. God created this for us to enjoy it. And he's like, he doesn't need another fool sitting in the pew thinking about a 10-pound bass. It's better that I'd be out here thinking about him than in his house thinking about a fish.
Right.
And it's a really good song. But yeah, I think, ultimately religion is good.
Yes.
People twist it to mean what they want it to mean in a lot of cases. A lot of extremists take whichever religion they believe in and turn it into something bad, whether that be the Klan or, Muslim extremists or whoever.
Right.
But all in all, it's not like that. And one more thing I'll share before we go while we're on this. I have a buddy that I used to work with that was a Satanist. Right. And obviously, that is not something I'm familiar with.
No.
We have, as people who grow up in a Christian household, you have what you think a Satanist is, what you're taught. Somebody out in the woods with a pentagram, drawing pentagrams and sacrificing bunnies and shit. And this guy even has a Baphomet tattoo on his arm.
Wow.
And so one day we're at work and we're out on this break area having a cigarette, and I just asked him, I'm like, dude, this is gonna sound crazy, but like, tell me what is a Satanist? What do you believe?
Yeah, it's cool
I
that
just
you're
want
open
to know.
to that.
Yeah, I just want to know. And basically, what he told me, I can't say word for word because I don't remember, but the basic breakdown for him was like, you're a Christian, so yes, the what you have been told as Satanism does exist in certain sects of the religion, right? Yes, there are some people that are so extreme, they're out there doing, trying to do sacrifices and dark shit.
Like dark shit.
Yeah. He's that does exist, but that's not all of us. He said the base of what I believe, the what I'm taught, the part of Satanism that I believe and I was taught, he said that it's just basically they're taught, be a good person for the sake of being a good person, not because you're scared to go to hell.
Right.
And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, I mean, obviously it's more words than that, and break it, it's broken down more than that, but that is the core of it, is the form that he believes, that he follows,
right,
says, don't just be good because you think God's going to punish you for not being good. Be good because that's the right thing to do. Treat people right because that's the right thing to do.
And that's what I believe.
And I was like, damn, that's really... Because when you hear the word Satanism, that's not a thing that you would think.
You would think it's more evil related.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it made sense. He's like, no, just like Christians and, there's Catholics and there's Methodists and there's Baptists and there's this and Pentecostals and there's all these different things, but ultimately y'all all believe in the same God and, whatever.
Yeah.
He was like, we're kind of the same. We have lots of different bits and pieces that make up a whole. I'm not one of those bits and pieces that sacrifices shit.
Right.
This is my part. And I'm like, oh, okay.
So that's why I wonder if there's you had mentioned Southern Baptist, and I brought to mind that there are so many different types of religion.
Oh, gosh.
And they all follow the same Bible. I don't know how they interpret it so differently. Mm-hmm. But then they also have key things that they focus on.
Yeah.
And the Southern Baptists were big on, they boycotted Disneyland because Disneyland was hiring gays at one point. So, and I don't know if that's, each church.
So I will say in the black community, there are a lot of gay church members.
Right.
Now, you can easily, yes, there will be times that the preachers or pastors will speak against it, but not in a like, damn you to hell, you or Jesus hates you, not in that way.
Not that you're not welcome.
Yes, you're still welcome. You're welcome in
Right.
God's house. What you're doing is against what he's asked of us, but you're welcome here. You don't have to feel uncomfortable here. If you want to be a part of this church, you're fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's what I have experienced in the black churches anyway.
But are they we'll counsel you, we'll try to fix you, we'll try to help you?
Maybe if you ask to be.
If you ask, but they don't see it as an illness or something that you are afflicted with or whatever.
Not that I gather. Yeah. Not that I gather.
So that's the Satanism and what he's talking about. I always think of Wicca. I think is what it's called, and there's witches, and they do different things. I would think that's kind of Satanism, but he's got a twist on it or a different type. And
there's a bunch of chicks out here that say they're witches.
Right?
It's become so popular and trendy to be. I'm witchy. I see it in fucking dating apps all the time. Really? Witchy. I'm witchy. Bitch, I don't think a real witch would say it that way.
They're misspelling.
They're misspelling the word. I'm witchy.
It's bitchy. They're misspelling.
But there are some, parts of religion, like my sister and them. Like my sister is to the point where she's almost a conspiracy theorist in some cases, and she thinks just everything is, but it's I don't know, because sometimes I tell my sister she's being a hypocrite, but. It's like, everything is a sign. Like y'all shouldn't be letting your kids watch the Demon Hunt.
K-pop
Demon Hunters.
Right.
Oh my god,
because that's a sign. Because it says demon.
I'm like, okay, but they're hunting the demons. Right? They aren't the demons. They're hunting the demons. Why would you?
Right.
That's the thing. Sometimes religion can go too far, and people can
Right.
take it too far, and it's like you're finding things wrong with things that aren't related. It's like, oh, well, everything's subliminal. Everything's subliminal. No,
Yeah.
no,
That's
it's
a little
not.
too
Not
much.
everything. And Beyonce is demonic now, and just everything's
right,
demonic now. And
right.
I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Fine.
There's a lot of conspiracies.
Don't consume that media then.
Right.
But don't try to force other people not to consume that media, because you're saying that other people are going to be influenced by it. I've watched so many things that, are considered, I guess, against God or something like that. And it's never made me once be like, you know what? Screw that. I'm done with God.
Right. I'm on my
You know
way.
what I mean? Like, no, absolutely not. And I don't know. They feel like kids are being influenced by stuff. And yes, kids can be influenced by things that they consume, but y'all are going too far with some of this shit.
Yeah. I had a lady tell me today that you have to get prayered up every day. Prayered up. I don't really know what that means. Like, pray until you're full, and then before you go to work, because there are vultures at work that are coming for you. And if you're prayered up, they'll leave you alone. But if you're not, they're going to get you.
I mean, I do believe
that
in
one day.
I believe in the power of prayer. I do.
Yeah,
I do believe in the power of prayer, but
I have my own philosophy.
I don't know that. I don't think. I don't really think that's necessarily how it works.
It's not to protect you.
It's like, all right, I'm gonna go. I gotta go to job today. Lord, please don't let these people piss me off, God. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like that. But I mean, I do believe in prayer, and I pray.
She's building up a shield every day to protect her from bad people.
I do believe in prayer. I do, and I pray almost. I ain't gonna say every night, because I forget like 3-4 nights in a row sometimes. Or I'm that person that I pray in my head. I don't pray out loud.
Right.
So then I might accidentally fall. Like, my brain, it's already hard enough for me to fall asleep at night. Like, excuse me. Most nights I lay awake 45 minutes to an hour just trying to go to sleep. But every possible thing crosses my brain.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't I say this in this conversation? Or every financial problem I have right now.
Oh my gosh.
Or how am I going to do this? Or what's going to happen with this? And so sometimes, like, I'll start my prayer, and then I'm like 15 minutes into some random just brain going all over the place, and I'm like, oh shoot, my bad, God. I forgot I was talking to you 15 minutes ago. I'm sorry.
He tuned out.
But I believe. Yeah. I mean, I like to say a prayer before I take off in a plane, and my family, we pray before.
She puts her hand on the outside of the plane before she gets in and says a little prayer before you walk in.
Really?
Yeah, she touches the outside of the plane.
She
does that.
I don't see anything wrong with it. And,
I don't see anything wrong with any of it. I'm not against anything, and even the stories that I've told. It's not my belief, but I'm okay with them doing it. Mm-hmm. My son was even in college was pursuing to be a pastor.
Oh, cool.
And he changed his degree halfway through, but it was his own choosing. I've never influenced my kids' decisions on anything either way. I said, you're going to figure it out for yourself. And someday when you're old enough, I'll explain to you mine. But I refrained. We went to church. We took him to church. Or most of the time I didn't go, but I went. I feel like I'm in the girls' bathroom when I'm in church. Like, I don't belong there. I'm not supposed to be there. So I went for the sake of going when they were little. But once they understood that I just don't go to church, then I didn't go. And my wife would take them. Mm-hmm. But if they asked me questions, I would just duck the questions. And I said, someday I'll tell you. Mm-hmm. So, and my whole thing, like you said, about being a good person. And I think I've brought this up to you before. Everything is based on pride in yourself, what you do, what you say, how you carry yourself. Like, pride drives me, and it's not that arrogant pride. Mm-hmm. It's just being proud of everything you do, and that feeling of pride.
Pride has a negative connotation in a lot of cases.
It's a fine line. But I'm talking about.
It's kind of like the word manipulate. Like the word manipulate. Most of the time when people are thinking of that word, thinking of it in a negative connotation, but you can manipulate situations without it meaning
to be positive.
Negative.
Yeah. So that, like, this feeling that you're always trying to make your parents proud. Mm-hmm. And when you do, that feeling that you get, to me, that's the feeling that I'm chasing after. And even I think love comes from
So
pride.
maybe you're searching for nirvana. Maybe you're a Buddhist.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe
I don't
you
know
might be a
anything
Buddhist.
about Buddhism, so
Well,
maybe I am. I'm not searching for nirvana, but I like that feeling of pride when you feel good about yourself and things that you've done and the people that are around you. And so anyway, pride drives me, and it makes me want to be a good person and treat other people well.
Yeah.
And
And
we've been talking about me trying to be better, helping other people a little bit more and being that guy to pull the trigger when I know there's a situation.
Well, and the way I see God, and the way I feel like God is going to appreciate that
right
more than he would somebody who's in that building every Sunday but doesn't do anything to make anyone else's
or like
life
they're
better.
completely hypocrites.
Yes,
They're living
and
a
that's the
completely
thing.
different
Being
life.
in that
Yeah.
building
Yeah.
does not make you a godly person.
The hypocritical part
A lot
of
of
religious
those-
drives me nuts.
Yeah, a lot of those holier than thou people are not good people.
Right. Well,
They're
you see that in our
judgmental,
government right now.
yeah.
They're all talking like we're great religious and God this and God that, but they're not good
They're not
people.
following that. Yeah,
They're not even close.
not at all. So I think, again, this is just how I perceive God. I feel like God will welcome those into heaven that tried their best to be positive,
Right.
do the right thing, when it comes to their interactions with others, help others when they could. Sometimes we don't have the means to help other people.
Right.
But if you have the desire, at least that's there, because that desire being there means that when you do have the means, you'll do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And so I do feel like being a good person and just being someone that others can look to, your children, your family, strangers can look to for positive reinforcement, for help, for a shoulder to cry on, someone they can lean on when they need it. To me, those are the people that God is going to bring into heaven.
Yeah.
Not just the ones just because you read the book, sang the songs, and walked into the building.
Yeah.
That's just how I see it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Totally agree.
Well, this was a good
All right.
conversation. Hell yeah.
We
It
got
went
some
way longer
things
than I
up.
thought we were going to go. Yeah.
Well, there is a lot more to talk about than I thought there would too, but you're just bringing up other things, and yeah, it leads into other. We could still talk about a lot more things, all the different facets. You were saying, real quick, you were saying about praying out loud. My grandparents did that. They believe the louder you pray, the more God hears you.
Really?
And they lived in the woods in Louisiana. And my grandfather would go out in the woods at like 6 a.m. And he was just out there yelling stuff. I don't even know what he was saying, but it would echo in the woods. And it was it was really cool. I mean, it sounded cool, but it was also creepy at the same time. And yeah, they did the whole holy roller, talking in tongues, flipping around, the whole thing. So I would sit there and just go, okay, this is weird.
Yeah, it's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
But and there was a time when they placed hands on me. Yeah, where everybody who could touch me touched me, and then everybody else would touch them, touching. So
and then pray.
And they would pray out loud, screaming and yelling. And there's power in that. You feel something there.
No, there is in the right setting. Like at my church, at the end of each service, they do a call to Christian, call to shit. I can't think of the terminology, but basically, if you'd like to join the church, if you felt moved and you want to join us, come on up, type of thing.
Yeah.
Or if you need prayer, come on up.
Yeah.
Either one. And so people will come there and they'll, do the anointing oil, and they will pray for the people. And a lot of times, sometimes the pastors and the other preachers know what the person needs prayer about because they've been in contact with them, or other times they don't. They don't. They pray for the healing of whatever
it is that they're coming forward. Yeah.
And
so you don't have to
it's
give
loud,
up
but
information.
it is powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
But I mean, there's also, and then we might talk about this one day because I watch a lot of like cult stuff.
Yeah.
So many of them are based in religion.
Yeah.
And then these people acting like they talk directly to God and then it's just so that they can molest people and steal their money. Like
even like all the people in the Middle East where they're blowing they're blowing themselves up because they're promised like 72 virgins. And you're doing all kinds of terrible things because you're promised some afterlife. I don't want.
What's the point of having 72 virgins? They don't know what they're doing.
I know.
Give me, instead of giving me 72 chicks who have never had sex, give me one chick that's had sex 72 times.
One experience versus 72 inexperience. I can't do anything with 72 virgins. I'd be pissed.
What do you mean you've never done that?
Yeah, now you're imagining the conversation.
All right, guys, this is the rock we live on.
Guys, take care.
God, that's hilarious. Yeah. Thank you for checking us out. Make sure you keep watching us. YouTube, Spotify, all the places. We appreciate you guys. Follow us on TikTok too.
There you go.
And Facebook. Hey, thanks for checking out The Rock We Live On with Mo and Craig. Make sure you like and follow us on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. And then you can also find us
anywhere where you listen to podcasts. We're on all platforms. Or check out Spotify podcasts to watch our videos.
Thanks a lot.